It's the anti-tracker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
Ah, shoot. Technical difficulty is right. Give me just a second, guys. Come on, you stupid thing. There we go. Jeez, that took forever and a day. Sorry about that, guys. Jeez. Michael J. Crawford, the anti-tricker here. I am just really tired today, so I apologize for messing up a little bit trying to get things started. And still not quite there. And there, now I think everything should be working, although the tip jar is still all full, so let's clear that out, because I meant to do that, and I didn't. There we go. Alright, so now that I have taken way too much of your time just getting the show started, maybe, come on. All right, there we go. Richie Poole is first in the house today. Congratulations, Richie. Although there is an asterisk by you getting the first, and that Thomas is on vacation, which means that, you know, he probably would have beat you. Just saying. Dude named Clem is second, says, woohoo! Resolute Germ is a quick third, and then Bird of Prey is here. Says a beautiful morning in Caroga. Oh, and the anti-cam's not. Thank you, Bird. Let me see. That's just the day I am having right now. There we go. There's the anti-cam, and you see anti right there. All right, and Richie says first. Yes, indeed, you were first, Richie. John DeMarco says good morning, and Chronos says, wow, it's early. Hello, church full of nerds. Hey, Chronos, good to see you. Richie says, yep, 5:22 a.m. is early. Yeah, West Coast, it is definitely right now quite early. Dude named Clem says, howdy, you long-haired, handsome fella. Okay. I think you might have switched your medications this morning. Don't forget the live chat, says Chronos. And then Chronos says, uh-oh. And then Richie says, let there be light. I assume you're saying uh-oh when I was like yelling that I was having trouble. BIRDOPREY asked about the anti-cam, which is now up and running. And Chronos says, I'm not lazy. What does your t-shirt say? It says, I'm not lazy. I just really enjoy doing nothing. That's, yeah, that should be my personal motto. Harold, UK Gaming. I don't know if I've seen you before, Harold, but welcome. If I have not, says good morning. And Chronos says, it's barely a day, anti-tracker. Well, if you're talking about because it's so early in California and stuff, well, yeah. You know, but it's almost 5:30. I don't know what your problem is. A bunch of whiners around here. But I do try to do live streams at different times for, you know, to be able to accommodate the fact that we have people all over the planet. And Sunday morning is kind of an odd one too. And of course, for those of you that don't know, I'm keeping the same live stream schedule now that I had while I was working, because eventually I'm going to get back to work. And I'm going to assume I'm going to have, although the funny thing is, I have been off work for so much time that by the time I get back to work, my schedule may have changed. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I know that because usually, I don't know when the operation is going to take place yet. And so assuming even like best case scenario, let's say they can schedule me for the operation by the end of this month. Well, then you're looking at least 6 weeks of recovery time from a knee replacement before you're back to work. It's driving me crazy. I mean, if I had 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, I wouldn't care. I just would say, well, screw it, I won't go back to work. But I don't have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, so I got to worry about paying the bills. But we will see how that goes. I have faith that things will indeed work out, and I'm not just saying that because it's Sunday morning. Mrs. Anti-Trekker has been such a wonderful support for me in more ways than one, and she keeps reminding me that, hey, you know what? The good thing is that because with the money that she got from her mother's untimely death, even though I have not been paid in over a month, we're not completely upside down with the bills right now and not having to beg everybody for help to just pay the basic bills. What you guys have given in super chats and those of you that support me on antitrekker.com and Patreon have effectively paid the mortgage, and then Mrs. Anti-Trekker has made up the rest. So thank you all that I've been able to support the channel, because without you, I don't know what we'd be doing right now. Harold says, been around before, something to watch on a rainy Sunday afternoon. Well, and see, that's funny, because when you say Sunday afternoon, it's like, what are you talking about? It's bright and early, but over in the UK, obviously, it's not. Hope that things are well. And a rainy Sunday afternoon, and that shouldn't you just be saying a Sunday afternoon? I mean, isn't every day pretty much rainy in the UK? By the way, our very own Darren Wagner sent me a message via Skype just minutes before I started this live stream, apologizing that he wasn't going to make it to the live stream this morning, which is too bad, but also wanted me to pass on the news for those of you, any of you that have Steam, and I have not checked this out yet myself, but I did download it. Well, it's downloading right now. Is the Orville Interactive Fan Experience is available on Steam, and it is free. So I hope that it's as good as the screenshots look, so we'll see. It's actually done downloading, but I'm not going to play it while I'm doing a live stream right now, unless you guys really want me to or something. Dan23, and Kronos says, faith of the heart. Yes, I got faith of the heart. No, actually, it's funny. Mrs. Anti-Trekker has faith of the heart. I have faith of the mind. There is a difference. And not one is better than the other. They're just different ways of looking at things. Antrekker, did you know that Star Trek Discovery Season 2 will be released on Blu-ray and DVD in November, but only contain 2 of the short treks? Well, that's weird. That is really weird. Why would you only include 2 of the 4 short... Granted, the short treks were awful, but why would you only include 2 of them? That doesn't make any kind of sense. Harold says, congrats on getting a new knee. Well, I don't know if I'm excited about it or not. They won't give me one over here. Pulling disability, it sucks. It does suck. And I'll tell you, it's funny because I don't like being off work. Now, granted, I would be happier if I was just doing YouTube full time, but I can barely function doing that either. I mean, I'm off work for a reason. The pain and stuff makes it pretty much impossible for me to focus on anything for any extended period of time. And quite frankly, doing what I usually do for my videos takes a lot of concentration, and that's why I've been getting much out lately. I'm going to try to push out a video later today, but it's tough. And but I don't like being off work. I don't like, some people I know think, oh, hey, free vacation. No, I would rather be, honestly, I would rather be working than in this current situation. Now, my ideal situation would, of course, be doing YouTube full time. But even so, I couldn't do that right now. So, yeah. Black Adam is in the house, says you're looking well. Thank you, Black Adam. What? No, Darren unsubbing. I know. It's so weird not having Darren. We got to have our resident flat earther, but he is just, I don't know exactly what's going on. He just sent me a message saying he wasn't going to make it. Could be maybe has a church thing going on. I mean, I know he goes to church, so I don't know, but, I wish him well. Hey there, anti-happy worship. Anti-happy worship. Good to see you, Derek. My two favorite Irishmen are in the house. Abby Olace says, a good morning, Anti-Tricker and family. Hello to the chat. Hey, Abby, hope you are doing well as well. Black Adam, Darth Zoom, you look good too, lols. Yeah, I remember when he was Darth Zoom, but now he's Black Adam. He just likes to switch his name around. Hey there, BIRDOPREY 5. Hey, you're not allowed to talk to the Korogan dictator. Sorry. Chrono says, I look like crap. Oh, wait, that's normal. No. I look like crap is normal. But Kronos, I'm sure you look just fine. Although I have no idea what you look like. For all I know, you look like, Quasimodo or something. Derek says, Darth, Adam, Zoom, be proud of your heritage. And Harold says, pain meds will do that in the exact same boat. And yeah, people don't realize how difficult it can be. No holiday, that's for sure. I know, and that's the thing. It is so freaking difficult to do anything right now. I mean, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I want to get stuff done. Speaking of which, Richie says, we're still waiting for part 4 of the Galaxy Quest. I know. And it's, I want to, and I tell you, because I've sat down and tried to do it, because that's the next video that I'm gonna do. I gotta get that done, but it's just been such a battle, and I am truly sorry. I hate this whole situation. I absolutely can't stand it. Adderall and caffeine pills will help with that concentration. Well, I don't know how it is over there in Ireland, Resolute. I'm sorry, I looked at Black Adam's thing, but wherever you are, I don't know what it's like, but I can tell you that I can't just go to the store and get Adderall. Caffeine pills, sure, but I'd rather just take caffeine the old-fashioned way. But I also know that caffeine doesn't actually do much for me. I like the taste of coffee, but like just raw caffeine does nothing. I don't get the jitters or anything like that. Black Adam says, it's turtles all the way down. Oh, well, you'll have to have that discussion with Darren. I thought only Miles could officially unsub. Well, Miles is the only person who can unsub multiple times in a single live stream. And BIRDOPREY says, hello, whoever said hello. Wow. Doesn't that make you feel special to know that BIRDOPREY didn't bother to even note your name when you said hello to him? That's just the way Korogans are. But yeah. And, the Korogans are also, they don't believe in honor or fair play or anything like that. They just, I understand that's how they are, but it's going to be frustrating. We proposed some new rules for the server that Bird, of course, doesn't want to do because he feels it would not be an advantage for him. But, so being fair isn't being an advantage, right? That's... Richie says, hello, Bird. Joe is our boss in the Untouchables way. Yes. Can you drink coffee in church? Asked Kronos. Yes. At least, well, here's the thing. As long as your church doesn't look down on it, there's no problem with it. Like where we go, the Experience Community Church, we almost every week, I don't go to Starbucks often, but when we go to Starbucks, it's on our way to church. And so we'll go to Starbucks and during the winter, get a hot mocha or something. During the summer, get like a Frappuccino or iced coffee. There is absolutely no problem with that at where we go. But, and it's kind of, I know it's kind of hard to see from this image here, but the people at our church, I mean, look at the guy on stage. He's wearing jeans and a t-shirt. And that's how most people dress at our church. We're a very informal church, but don't mistake informality with irreverent. We have a lot of reverence for God. We just don't think that we have to dress up to go to church. We believe that you should come to the church as you are. And so, because you know what? God sees you on your best at your worst. And so just be you. You're not fooling God by dressing up nice on Sunday morning. Derek says it's a lovely morning here in Ireland. Good. I'm glad to hear that. I've never been there. I hope to go one day soon. I want more Stargate reviews really bad. I can't wait. I know, Bradley, and that's another thing on my list of things I've got to get back to. And I've been, Mr. Miles is itching for me to get some Stargate goodness going too. And Chrono says it's actually a good morning here as well. Well, awesome. Everybody's having a good morning. That's good. I can't see anyone who mentioned my name. Well, now Cronus and Richie Poole, hello guys, but that was later. Well, Bird, it's not my fault. You just don't care. Derek could say, "Hey there, BIRDOPREY, let's annoy him." Harold says, I find a certain plant substance to be perfectly acceptable treatment for knee trouble. Not ideal, but better than anything Big Pharma's got. I agree, Harold. The problem is that particular treatment is not legal where I live. It is legal where my daughter lives, and when I was in her state dealing with my mother-in-law's estate earlier this year, I did that, and it actually worked wonders for my back and knee. But, here, can't do anything about that. And let's see. Our Trill Spots Sexual was watching DS9, and that Trill said how far they go, Jadzia all the way down, then he shuddered. I don't think so, Black Adam. I think that was just a stupid joke. And that's unfortunately, like, Deep Space Nine's Achilles heel as far as, because Deep Space Nine, of the second generation treks, I think Deep Space Nine is far and away the best. However, I think that the Achilles heel of Deep Space Nine, the thing that just makes me cringe about Deep Space Nine, is they're dealing with sexuality. They kind of act like they're 5-year-olds whenever they talk about anything sexual, and it's annoying. BIRDOPREY says, Kuroga agreed to a 72-hour ceasefire. I didn't even ask for a 72-hour ceasefire, Bird. I just said, hey, if you come and attack, we got nothing. So, have fun with that. Because with what happened with Cinnabon and stuff, we were pretty much wiped out. We're in a complete rebuilding phase. But I was talking about, like, the transponders, I think, is the best thing. Because, honestly, the problem with Space Engineers as a game is that the game map, if you will, is an entire solar system, right? You have multiple planets, multiple asteroids, multiple moons, and a person could be anywhere in that huge area. And so we could play this game for literally years and never see each other, because and unless you happen to know where the other person's base is. Now, in the real world, we know exactly where everybody is. Like if you're going to war with Canada, it's not like we don't know where Canada is, right? And we don't know where Canada's bases are and stuff. So, yeah. Derek says, coffee is okay, but tea is better. I disagree with you, Derek, but you are over on the other side of the pond where you guys are backwards with that. Dan says, got smoke coming in the basement window. Best guess is someone walked along the street, dropped a cigarette down the street grate, and went past the basement window, causing smoke to come in. That sucks. I'm sorry. Chrono says, I'm trying to forgive my enemies. It's really hard with Bird. I can understand that. And I'll tell you, it's funny because we talk about that a lot as far as from a biblical perspective. Forgiving, it's not just forgiving your enemies. That's not the tough part. Anybody can say, I'm not going to hold a grudge. And if you're strong, you can actually maintain that. The hard part is actually loving your enemies. Dan says, it's okay now, just smells. That still sucks. I thought it was 36 hours, Bird. You doubled it. How very magnanimous of you. Wow, you guys just love Bird. God does not care what you wear. Agreed. And that's the thing. And God sees you no matter what you're wearing or what you're doing. So it's not like you're going to fool him by putting on something nice. I hope God doesn't see me this morning. Foghorn sounds. Do it. Derek says, yep, come to Ireland and I'll look after you, show you the sights. Derek, I tell you, the plan is when we get to Ireland, I plan on hanging out with you and Black Adam. And then, of course, we need to go to England and hang out with Dr. Alex, keep him away from Mrs. Anti-Checker. We need to go to France and hang out with Luke, and then go from there to anywhere we can to meet up with you guys on the other side of the pond. It may be a year, 2 or 3, but we're going to make it there eventually. But yeah. Black Adam says, my granddad used to say, remember, God will know a true man who is covered in pig muck and a liar in their best Sunday clothes. That's actually an interesting way to put it, but absolutely true. Harold says, not legal here either. Okay, I thought it was for some reason. Probably drunk as an Irish person. I'm not sure what you mean there, Derek. DS9's Achilles heel was Babylon 5. Well, actually, I think it's the other way around. Babylon 5, honestly, probably would be remembered with more reverence if not for Deep Space Nine. Because even though I know Deep Space Nine copied a lot of Babylon 5 stuff, I'm not denying that. But the problem for Babylon 5 is DS9 did it better. And no disrespect intended to those that love Babylon 5. But Babylon 5 did not age well. Deep Space Nine is still watchable today. And in fact, Deep Space Nine is still very watchable today. DS9 is a great show with the relentless theme in the later seasons. Yes. Black Adam, I kind of got that. And good saying, by the way. Yes. Most U.S. citizens can't find Canada on the map. Well, I'm sure that's because they're too scared of you, Bird. No, I don't know. If that's true, that's really pathetic. If you can't find Canada on an unmarked map, that's just stupid. If I played with y'all, the only thing I would ever see is my weapons fire. Not necessarily, but you should check it out. Space Engineer, if you're talking about Space Engineers, that's a lot of fun, actually. Canada, our enemy to the north. Yes, Canada, you can't trust them. Most birds can't find New York on the map. That's also true, and BIRDOPREY 5 is definitely no exception. Is your job mobile anti-tracker? Relocating may be easier than dealing with Blue Cross. You know what, Resolute? I've actually considered that, and while I do telecommute, I officially have to work within a certain distance of one of our company's facilities, but that apparently is a policy that may change in the coming years, and when it does, I may be making a move to a state that's more green, if you know what I mean. But the problem is that I love it here, and like the Experience Church is such a great place to hang out, and I don't know if I would want to leave that even for pain relief. Kronos, I'm going to meet Darth Adam Zoom in a few weeks at Comic-Con in Dublin. Ness, that's very cool. I wish I could be there with you guys. And Black Adam then says it's next weekend. Well, you better get that right then, Derek. I can't imagine loving my enemies. Exactly. That is the toughest thing that I think Jesus said in the entire Bible, is to love your enemies. That is something, because here's the thing, and this is how our pastor likes to drive it home, and he says this frequently, but I really like the fact that he's talking about, like, if you are online posting pictures of Obama with a 666 across his forehead, or you're posting pictures of Donald
better.
And Valor, thank you so much for the $5. I'll get to that in just a second. Let me finish what I was saying. If you put pictures of Donald Trump on Facebook with devil horns and stuff, that is not Christian behavior. If you are liberal and you hate Trump, if you're conservative and you hate Obama, it does not matter. You are called to love your enemies. You are called to pray for those in power. You are called to support those that persecute you. And that is an incredibly tough thing to do. RMP is in now, says, greetings, Space 1999 fans. Man, I used to love that show back when I was a kid. And back then, 1999 seemed so far away. Chronos says, Derek, hope you and Darth have a good time. Absolutely. You guys are freaking, I want to see some pictures. I'm very jealous. I have not gotten to a con not since I saw William Shatner. Well, no, when I saw David Tennant a couple years back in Philly. But yeah, I miss it. Old days sheep shepherds will be buried with a tuft of sheep coat in their pocket and hand, so that when they go to heaven, they could show it as proof as why they were never in church. Interesting. I'd never heard of that. That's kind of funny. DS9 has aged much better. Was typing when you said that. LOL. Oh, that's yeah, but it's true. Chrono says I'm half clown, half nerd. Wow, that's I'm trying to picture like when your your parents met. You know, like when I was like, well, actually, I think that you're very attractive, and the other one's like, and yeah, that because you're half clown, half nerd. DS9 also has twice the budget per episode. True, but I'm not. It doesn't matter. I mean, excuses are relevant when it comes to, if the final product was better on DS9, it was better on DS9. It's just like people try to excuse Star Trek V because of the fact that ILM wasn't available to do the visual effects, that there were other technical problems along the way, that that William Shatner had to change the story. Now, the movie just sucked. All right, it sucked. Period. Just own up to it. It doesn't matter what the excuses were. The movie was a failure. Babylon 5 used to use such cartoonish graphics even for the tech of the day. That's my opinion. It's what makes B5 unwatchable. Actually, you know what? The visuals, the CG, which was groundbreaking in a sense, and that it was the first TV show that really relied on CG for visuals, but the video toaster, which is the device they use, and now you can still use the same basic software package. It's called Lightwave, which I've used. It's actually a pretty powerful tool, but it just wasn't ready. It really wasn't ready. Bradley says, I play Minecraft too much to pick up another game, sadly. Actually, Bradley, if you play Minecraft, you've got to play Space Engineers, because Space Engineers is Minecraft on crack. You will love it. Derek says, Kronos, will make sure to get those so that pictures go to the discard. Yeah, we definitely want to see lots of pictures, Derek. Valor puts $5 in, says, my first super chat. My mom says hello. Bird of Prey gets to pick. Wow. Well, first of all, Valor, thank you so much. Second of all, hi to Valor's mom. I'm glad that you're watching even. Well, I guess I'm old, so yeah, that's, I get, they're older ladies kind of like me. But I'm sorry, that was mean. For all I know, Valor is like 12 years old, and Mom is like half my age. But anyway, but thank you very much, Valor. And Bird, if you're still with us, you get to pick a super chat or Uber chat. So throw it at me, Bird of Prey 5. Otherwise, we don't want Valor's $5 to go to waste. And I don't know about forgiveness, but I could walk away and let them live their life. Well, here's the thing. Derek, is that, yeah, walking away and letting them live their life is better than, say, actively hating on them. But forgiving them and loving them and helping them, that's what is truly divine. And that's why I think that there's a reason it's so difficult. We can't do it without God's help.
I have got something
and
better.
RMP throws €2 into the chat. Thank you so much, RMP. I will get to your chat in just a second. I'm not too far behind. I haven't been to cons since '92, but wait, yes. I love cons, but yeah, they're so expensive. Bradley says I'm picturing Spock in clown makeup. Oh man, that's wrong. Peter Quinn is in the house this afternoon. How you doing, Peter? That's as difficult as loving an enemy. Those early DS9 graphics did not age well. The early episodes, you're right. But as the show, but the thing about DS9 is that I really think took it above Babylon 5 was, quite frankly, Avi Brooks and the rest of the cast were so phenomenally good in their roles. Don't get me wrong, I don't think the cast of Babylon 5 was particularly bad, but they just didn't have the gravitas of the cast of Deep Space Nine. I'm sorry, they didn't. Picturing Spock as a clown, yes. I had someone recently say, give us heaven, give us hell. That makes no sense. So you didn't get the series season-long gag that were littered around Babylon 5. I'm not sure what you mean specifically, Peter. RMP says, love the t-shirt. It has an important message. It absolutely does. Remember, laziness is bad, but it's okay to enjoy not doing things. The DS9 documentary is being released on DVD soon. I know. I'm looking forward to that. I know Bird of Prey has been talking about how awesome it is. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out. Bird of Prey, meanwhile, picks UBERCHAT number 2. You got it, Bird.
In the tradition of our Vulcan ways, the two of you must fight to the death in Kunat Kalafi.
I don't think this is really all that fair.
I have to choose a winner, and the winner is DJ.
What?
What?
What can I say? I love bunnies.
There it is. Bird of Prey 5 versus DJ Odyssey in a fight to the death. Thank you, Bird. And of course, thank you, Valor, for your generosity. I truly do appreciate it. And by the way, and Valor's mother, just so you know, no, I'm not using Super Chat money for drugs and stuff. I use it to just pay the mortgage. It's the honest truth. Without you guys, I would have lost this house a while ago. So thank you. Derek says hi to Peter. Okay. Mr. Londell is here. Says, is there anywhere online you can see that DS9 documentary yet? I don't know a place that you can see it legally, at least. So I would say hold off. Star Trek 5 at the beginning when the satellite probe is being destroyed sounds like it's screaming. It does. It really does. That's kind of laughable. And what's with the submarine style periscope for the Klingons? That was kind of dumb. And the Klingons look like they belonged in an 80s hairband. Some of the local indie conventions can be a lot cheaper. That's true. But you also don't get to meet any celebrities there. Although it could be fun. Dan likes Babylon 5 and says Babylon 5 had a story with a computer program called Control. That's funny. I don't remember that, but I'm not saying I dislike Babylon 5. I'm just saying I think DS9 was better. Peter says, I'm not so bad at Trek. Had a summer cold, but recovered now. Good. Well, I want you to have a good rest of the summer then. I don't need to actively hate my enemy to want to destroy him. Well, but that's kind of the definition of actively hating someone. Derek says, Deloja to Bird. Peter wants to know how the spine is. The spine is in a lot of pain. However, there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's just that the tunnel keeps getting longer. In case you haven't heard, they're not going to do the fluid injections they were going to do to my knee. Instead, they're actually going to do a knee replacement, but I'm waiting for them to schedule that. And that's going to suck because that's serious surgery. I like the show Andromeda. I've not seen Andromeda, so I don't know. I can't comment on it. How far can you go with a sloth before you come to that dude before you become that dude in the movie 7? Well, I'll tell you, that's wow. That was a disgusting dude. And I don't know, but I'd say about 400 pounds. I already have 2 copies of What We Left Behind, the Backers edition and the commercial release. Look for it streaming on August 6th. Amazon, iTunes, more. Okay, cool. Thank you. And Chrono says, R.I.P. DJ. Yes, poor DJ sliced himself to pieces. And Derek says, any excuse to go to Newcastle, up the tune. I'm not sure what up the tune means, but okay. RMP is smiling. Bradley says, why is the beginning of that animation so much black screen? Well, it's the CBS logo. Because it's a CBS animation, because it's a new CBS All Access show, Bird of Prey versus the Bunny. Or something. Dale says, howdy, rascals. Hey, Dale, how are you doing? Babylon 5 was the first series that was supposed to be for binge watching. Well, in a sense, you're right, although binge watching didn't exist yet because on-demand programming didn't exist yet. But Babylon 5 is definitely a show that is good for binge watching because it was so serialized. So I agree with you there. Oh, fish are going crazy all of a sudden. Let's see. Where was I? Hey there to all the new old nerds showing up and will show up. All right, Kronos. Derek says, Peter did a few weeks when I was in the Navy. It's a great place, very lively. Oh, talking about uh, being in Newcastle. Gotcha. I didn't enjoy the Farscape show. They should have used puppets. I'll tell you, I watched just the first couple episodes of Farscape with Bill, Bridget's sister's father, and this is the sister that passed away, her father. And honestly, I was not blown away by Farscape. I think the puppets look a little too silly, and they were trying to be serious, and so it's kind of I have a problem with that. Valor says, my mom is 60 and she thinks you look like her younger brother. Well, thank you. I'm not that much younger, though. So if your mom is 60, she and I are in the same age category. So I'm only 9 years behind her. But thank you, I think, to Valor's mom. I've met a few celebs at indie cons. Well, I know that sometimes you can get lucky, like, you might get a Lou Ferrigno or something like that. But I'm just talking, as far as the big name, like, when I went to the Philadelphia Comic-Con, I met David Tennant and Carl Urban, and I actually had a real conversation with Carl Urban, and I told the story before, but made him cry talking about my mom. And I wouldn't trade those moments for the world. I love meeting some of these actors because a lot of them are just down-to-earth folks. You don't realize that because you just see them on their pedestal. But I look for the actors that there's nobody in line to see. Grono says, I'm not bad. I'm just drawn this way. Quoting a little Roger Rabbit there. Is anyone else getting that message? Sorry, YouTube quit unexpectedly. I didn't. That's not good. Have a black screen now. I would say refresh. Hopefully YouTube doesn't quit unexpectedly for everybody. That would suck. And Bradley says, oh, okay. And Chrono says WB for some reason. I'm not sure why. If you watch Andromeda, stops after season 3. Oh, what, it goes downhill? I know lots of folks who have had those fluid injections, cortisone, or that Visync, whatever it's called, not work on many, didn't on me. Well, the cortisone I already tried some time ago. The cortisone did absolutely nothing. And so then this was, I can't remember, I think it's close, I have it written down somewhere. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a gel that they inject in there to replace the cartilage. Cortisone is a steroid that they try to stimulate growth in there, but the gel is actually a synthetic cartilage. And the insurance company won't pay for it because of the fact that it doesn't work on everybody. And even if it does work, it's only expected to last for a couple of years, as opposed to a knee replacement typically lasts 10 to 20 years. So hedging your bet, and knee replacements are much more reliable. Peter says, Ian White, James Cosmo, Craig Charles, and Chris Berry from Red Dwarf. David Prowse and Spencer Wilding. Well, of all of those, David Prowse is the only one whose name I know, but then I'm not in the UK, and I don't watch Red Dwarf, so, but yeah. There's room for both. I was the guy who hinted Dave Cullen, Computer Forever, to make a video about the ripped storyline of B5. I like him. I agree. Both were on its own great shows. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not, yeah, that's the thing. Don't think I'm dissing Babylon 5 by saying that I think DS9 was better. I think Babylon 5 was a fine show for its day. I think it was a mistake to use the CG graphics, but I thought it was interesting back at the time. Prowse and Wilding both have been Darth Vader. I didn't know about Wilding. I know about Prowse. I met David Prowse when I was a kid. Very nice guy. And now I can't remember his name. Oh gosh, I can't believe it. He died recently. Peter Mayhew was Chewbacca. Met him as well. Vile Mike says, howdy believers and heathens. Hey, and I met them at a store opening. Dan says, agree on the puppets. James, Cosmo, Game of Thrones, Braveheart, etc. Well, but who was he in Braveheart? That might help me, Peter. Who was he in Braveheart? Then I'll probably know who he is. Harold grinds, pull and sniff the much harder hit. What? Harold grinds pills and sniff them much better, harder hit, so they say. Not grinding pills and sniffing them. Sylvester McCoy, yo, Anti-Tracker, the doctor. Oh, Sylvester McCoy, yes. Now you say I remember. Lou Ferrigno is going to Comic-Con. Lou Ferrigno lives at freaking Comic-Cons nowadays, which is, I'll tell you, Lou Ferrigno looks great. Man, for his age, holy crap, does that guy look good. I don't think the puppets were that bad. Better than CGI from Babylon 5. Well, I would agree that it's better than CGI from Babylon 5, but they still just look like any second they should break out into song at all the time. Loads of various artists and authors, that's true. The Peacekeeper Wars can be shown as a miniseries or a feature-length movie. Well, I haven't seen it, so I couldn't speak on that. Trek Reviewer says, hi, how you doing, Trek Reviewer? I don't always like it when a TV show and waits until it finishes and does a feature-length movie to explain one of the storylines hasn't answered. I'm not a big fan of that either. I kind of prefer, I think the way Star Trek did it was good. They didn't, use the movies to tie up loose ends from the series. The movies were their own adventures. It was just like, oh, okay, yeah, the series was their 5-year mission. Now, what happened after that, right? And of course, with Next Gen, while I don't think the transition was as smooth because a couple of the Next Gen movies just feel like basically episodes. But with the original series, there's a clear distinction of the time gap between the series and the films. That this is sometime after their 5-year mission, and Kirk has been kicked upstairs. The rest of the crew have moved on with their lives, and then, hey, what's going on? Was the gel that I had, it was rubbish? Well, in that case, Harold, I'm kind of glad I'm not getting it, but I'm not looking forward to full-blown surgery on my knee. I'm really not. Serenity did that with Firefly. Grr, yes. And the thing is, see, Firefly, the funny thing is, Firefly was probably the best episode of Serenity. Or Serenity was the best episode. Wait, which one was it? The movie was Serenity. The movie was Serenity. The series was Firefly. So Serenity was the best episode of Firefly. I met Doug Bradley, Pinhead. Very cool. It's funny because, Pinhead is such a scary-looking dude, and Doug Bradley is such a nerdy-looking dude. Firefly had to do that because it was canceled way too early. Agreed. And I wish Firefly had found an audience because that was a great show. Try having Odo injected in you. That's... Jeez. Peter says, David Prowse is a great bloke, Andrew. I had a drink with him after. Very cool. James Cosmo was Wallace's best mate's father. Okay, yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. I would love to meet James Cosmo then. I loved his character on Braveheart, and I know I've seen him in a couple other things as a small part. He seems like a great guy. Babylon 5 and Deep Space Nine both had a character named Lita. True, but I would chalk that up to coincidence. I mean, there's enough similarities to where you could argue one plagiarized the other without having to say, well, this one character was named Lita, because they're not the same character. I once considered sparing your wretched planet of Cybertron. Now you shall witness its dismemberment. That's creepy. The Ivana sex dance. I don't remember the sex dance, which... Man, now I gotta have to look for it. Babylon 5 had a spin-off called Crusaders that only lasted one season. I vaguely remember Crusaders. I don't think I saw it, though. Black Adam's putting a Facebook link. Check this, my album from last year. Is that from your Comic-Con experiences last year? I'm still jealous of you. But let's see. If we take a look here at... Is there a way to okay, so if we bring up, so here is a lovely picture of the parking lot. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Oh, another picture of the oh, look at that. Another picture of the parking lot. And look, another picture of the parking lot. Oh, hey, a picture of the water. There's a picture of a building. And look, someone who works at the Dublin Comic-Con. So yeah, it looks like you had an absolute blast at I'm just messing with you, Black Adam, but I'm sure I'll look through that. I didn't like the Galactica spinoff Caprica. I did not either. I thought that it was wasted potential. The thing that sucks is that I think if they had, instead of doing Caprica, they did Blood and Chrome, it could have been successful. I'm really disappointed that Blood and Chrome didn't get made into a series because that looked like it had a lot of potential. I think Caprica had Cylons going to church. I don't know. I kind of quit on Caprica after the first few episodes. I just thought it was horrible. Ivana is quotable. She is. Serenity was the movie, yes. I posted one on, I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Oh, Jeremy Renner is playing the marathon tag. Playing marathon tag. Okay. Not sure who marathon tag is. Cosmo is funny and great guy. I don't doubt that at all. He seems like he would just be a fun guy to hang around. Every one of my friends I show Firefly wish it would have never ended, and I never knew it existed, kind of like the show Smallville. Well, except Smallville wore out its welcome. I think Smallville was a lot of fun for the first couple of years, but by the time you got to like season 7, it was done. They should have they should not have stretched it out for 10 years. Dr. Alex is here. Says afternoon, Anti-Trekker. How are you doing, Doctor? Babylon 5 actually did an episode where the captain goes to a gospel church on the station at the same time you're seeing a horrible guy on another planet being killed. Well, they had Babylon 5, I'll give them this. They delve into the religion thing a little deeper than DS9 did, which I appreciate, but I think we need more of that. Chrono says, hey, Doc, and then LOL, that's a hot parking lot. Yeah, it really is. Ivana's sex dance clip on Discord, Anti-Trekker. I will check it out. Not this minute, but I will check that out. Lots of empty parking lots. Yes, that's, I guess Dublin doesn't have cars. Crusaders, never heard of it. Wonder if it's on the tube or buried deep on Netflix. Could be. I don't know where you'd watch it. Lita, it's like Lita versus Lita. Crusader had the worst score of sci-fi series ever. It was torture to hear that. Made me mute the TV several times. Wow, that bad, huh? The next gen movies were to have scenes about Worf coping without Dax, but they were cut. Yeah, and they I think that there was so much they could have done with the next gen movies, but they were all missed opportunities, in my opinion. If we're talking about meeting celebrities, I once met Brent Spiner and some other TNG cast, and Brent told me dirty jokes. Yes, Brent is, yeah, he likes to do that. I met Brent Spiner, Jonathan Frakes, and a couple other members of the TNG cast. But really, the most fun I had with any Trek alum, aside from just being starstruck by meeting William Shatner, but the most fun I had talking to anybody from Trek would have been meeting LeVar Burton. Me and Mrs. Anti-Trekker talked to LeVar Burton for a good solid 20 minutes or so, and it was a really fun conversation. Blackhouse says, Enter, you're mean. I sent you to 5 years of Star Trek Discovery with a group of Drekkies. Oh, that's cruel and unusual. Lita is telepathic. Oh, okay. Sometimes movies for TV shows are just episodes with the plot stretched out longer. That's true. And that's why it's usually not a good idea unless it was really... Star Trek is the exception that proves the rule. It's so difficult to transition from a television series to a film series. Going from film to television can be easier, but it still is rare for it to be successful. Stargate Universe was totally forgettable and killed the SG franchise. Yeah, they need to reboot Stargate. I really do think that. I'm pleased Tom Welling, Clark Kent, Smallville is coming back for Crisis on Infinite Worlds. I heard that. I haven't seen anything on it for sure, but I'm okay with it, except that I'm done with the WB's version of DC. I'm sorry. I'm so done with because it's not as bad as, say, Star Trek Discovery or even The Last Jedi, but it has gone so SJW that it's like unwatchable for me. I'm tired of seeing how every single person has to have their best friend be some kind of LGBTQ. I'm tired of how we have to try to unrealistically put women fighting guys twice their size and throwing them across the room. I'm done with that crap. And so show me a good story, a good show, and something that's believable, and I'll watch it. Most of my friends only knew about the new shows like Flash, Arrow, and Supergirl. They watched Smallville, and where I was like, where the F was I when this was on? Yeah, well, I would definitely say Smallville is better than the newer stuff like Flash and Arrow and stuff like that. It was definitely better. If they do as good a job as Elseworlds and Tracker, I'll be really happy. Well, we'll see. Tried to rewatch Universe, just not interested anymore. We don't talk about Stargate Origins. Stargate Universe was left on a cliffhanger. That sucks. As far as Origins, I've heard it's really, really bad. So, yeah. Dr. Alex is working on the next sword fighting vid, but churning out Next Life, Universe, and Everything parts simultaneously. Well, only a true Brit could do that. Although, Dr. Alex, I'm still mad at you because no mead. I'm beginning to think that some either American or British postal worker is drinking that mead because nothing. Or you simply entered the address wrong and somebody else got it. Crusade starred Gary Cole, fresh from American Gothic. It was rubbish, like season 5 Babylon 5, but worse. Wow. So that's a no-go watching Origins. Yeah, that sounds like it. I love Stargate so much, I even enjoyed Stargate Infinity. Well, I didn't... That's okay. Okay. And let's see. I met Garrett Wang. He's really funny. And Rom Max Grudenchik. Who is Rom Max Grudenchik? I've heard Garrett Wang, though, is actually a fun guy. I have heard that about him. One thing in common, they both look like they had a job in Hooters. Okay. Careful with that word. I'll try to watch what I'm saying. Carpeth. Carprith. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Derek. Let's see. Talking to Crow. The only thing that did not age between TOS and the movies was Khan's chest. I'll tell you, Ricardo Montalban, that was freaking impressive. Nobody thought that Ricardo Montalban was built like that. But the thing is that people didn't remember him from the 60s. They remembered him from Fantasy Island, and he was always wearing a suit, and so he's covering all that up. I've sort of given up on standalone Supergirl. I've given up on everything on the WB. But Flash and Legends are great. I agree to disagree there, Peter. I think Flash was fun for the first couple of years, but it just became wash, rinse, repeat, and more push the SJW thing. So I'm kind of done with them. Met Nana Visitor. She's the sweetest person. Really, now here's the funny thing. Granted, we tend to blend the actor and the character because good actors usually put a lot of themselves into their characters. And so I always thought of Nana Visitor. She must be a massive, accurate word to describe the kind of creature that Auntie is. And because Kira was a very tough as nails kind of girl. But I don't know. I'm sure she's a wonderful person, but that's funny. Vile says, met LeVar too. He was embarrassed that Brent was telling me, a young teenager, dirty jokes. Yeah, LeVar seems to have a little bit more class on him than Brent. Sorry, Brent. B5, Ivanov didn't want to have sex with a visiting alien ambassador, and so she made up a sex dance and told him that it was their way of having sex on Earth. Okay, I don't remember that, but that's hilarious. Derek says, Caprica is fine, doomed when you know what happens. Adama, there's a line, they saved a little girl, but ML. I think you kind of lost it there, Derek, so I'm not sure. And Dr. Alice says, damn it, I used the address fresh from your channel info. I'm sure you did, Doctor. I don't know what happened, but it could have gotten lost. And who knows, maybe it'll show up in 6 months. But I mean, I'm not going to cry, but I was looking forward to it. I heard SG Origins was good. Well, Vile, you were the only person that's ever heard that. Chrono says Rom. Yeah, whenever I hear, I think of Rom Space Knight or, Rom Quark's, is it his brother? Yeah. SG Universe grew on me as it progressed, such as I was a little miffed that it was canned in the end. Wow. Well, I haven't seen it. So when I get to it, I'll give my opinion on it. But I like SG1. I'm looking forward to SGA. Continuum says, LLAP, how's everyone doing? And LLAP, live long and prosper. It took me a minute, but I remembered. See, I actually remembered. So welcome, Continuum. Mr. Rondell says, how many of us would it like to see a Torchwood reboot? Well, the problem is that Torchwood, since it's linked to Doctor Who, you would have to... Well, I don't think it'd be a bad idea at this point to reboot Doctor Who, but... So, yeah, why not? And Stargate Origins about Catherine going through the Stargate to Abydos when she was younger. Well, that sounds really stupid. Because if Catherine went through the Stargate to Abydos, then why is it that they needed Daniel Jackson to figure out how to dial Abydos? Did you just compare Kira to Auntie? Yes, I did. Don't coffee, Anti-Checker. He just got up on a Sunday morning with a t-shirt that says it all. Yes, that's true. No Torchwood reboot. The show was great and does not need to be redone. Well, I just say that I could see it. If we wanted to redo it, but yeah. Although, honestly, why don't we just do something original? That would be nice. If we suddenly got Star Trek technology tomorrow, do you think humanity would destroy itself with it? No. I think that most people would just then spend the rest of their natural lives in a holodeck. Assuming it was next-gen technology. If it was original series technology, then yeah, they just blow themselves up. Son of a Red Shirt is in the house. Says, good morning, everybody. Hey, Son of a Red Shirt, good to see you. Wasn't the ladies from Smallville arrested on sex trafficking a few years ago? Well, not exactly sex trafficking. She's part of a sex cult. And yes, and in fact, not a few years ago, like a few months ago, here in Tennessee. But yeah, it's really kind of sad. The girl that played Chloe. In Battlestar, they risked everything to save a little girl. Very human. Yes, I'll tell you, the 2004 Battlestar Galactica is one of the best sci-fi shows ever. It absolutely is. The Babylon 5 spinoff called Crusaders or Crusader. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm sure Google knows. Stargate Universe got a lot of hate because they canceled the Atlantis in favor of it. Then they changed the tone of the series to be a lot darker than anything that came before. Was pretty good. I've heard Universe is good but different, and that Stargate Origins is just horrible. I think people hated SGU because of the change of tone. I actually enjoyed it. Well, and that's the thing. If it is that radically a different tone, then I probably won't like that very much, because I think that once you establish, like, it would be dumb to have the next Marvel movie be dark and gritty, right? That's once you establish the tone of the series, you need to stick to it. Now, there are exceptions to that. For example, when Daniel Craig took over the role of James Bond, they made Bond a lot more serious, a lot more real, and a lot more quote-unquote gritty. And it really worked. However, that was the exception. Quark was cut from the end of Star Trek Insurrection. There's no video release, but there are photos. Oh, that would have been cool to see Quark, but yeah, they're idiots. Season 1 of Torchwood was so naff. Not sure what naff means, Dr. Alex, you Brits. I stopped watching after a few episodes. However, apparently from season 2 onwards, it got much better, and my friend Gary Russell became a showrunner. Well, if you have a friend who is a showrunner, holy crap. You know, so you had a friend that was actually a showrunner and you didn't watch the show. Dr. Alex, you are a horrible friend. So I suppose that's why you didn't care for Stargate Universe. Was darker, didn't have the same flow as the other series had. Yeah, if it's that much darker, I probably will have a problem with that, but we'll see when we get to it. Unfortunately, still never caught up, though. Well, Dr. Alex, you are a horrible person. They made SGU darker, but they kept a lot of the humor. Well, I'll wait until I see it, and then I'll judge. Legends of Tomorrow is my favorite DC series, mainly because it's the most fun thing on TV. Irreverent, silly, but the heart is always in the right place. Well, I'll be honest with you. I haven't watched Legends of Tomorrow since season 1, when it kind of felt like a mess. It might have gotten better, but yeah. I don't know. Speaking of a Whovian reboot, bring back Unit and make the Cybermen menacing as they really should be. Agreed. Unit is so hilarious, that name. I love the name Unit. But also, the Cybermen should be scary, but they're not. I think it was just Crusade. And then Harold said, it was called Crusade! In all caps. And then Trek Review says, B5 spinoff was called Crusade! SGU is more militaristic tone, Trekker. They did try to change it towards the end. Well, we'll see when we get there. Oops. If you only watch the SG shows, then if only you watch the SG shows, then we could talk about it. It's all right, Kronos. I mean, I'll get there. I'm sorry, this takes a while. Nowadays, Hollywood will not bet on originals because most people pay to watch reboots. So why pay for an original that may flop when you can recycle a story that sells? That's what's been happening. Well, there's truth in that. The people like familiar characters, familiar settings, and all that. So reboots and stuff are fine for that kind of thing. But the problem is that then Hollywood gets lazy with the writing on their reboots and sequels. And that's when things fall apart. That's when we end up with Ghostbusters 2016. A Ghostbusters reboot could be an incredibly fun movie. But Ghostbusters 2016 was just like, we'll throw Ghostbusters in and put chicks in the front. And and everybody will say it's great. And it sucked. Just because you're rebooting doesn't mean you don't need to write. Peter says NAF equals rubbish. Okay, thank you. Carl Urban would make a great James Bond. Carl Urban he could pull off James Bond, I think. Dr. Alex says, yep, I'm the worst. You absolutely are. And Dan23 says, thanks. You're welcome. Better a horrible friend than no friend at all. And then Dr. Alex says, I like Legends of Tomorrow too, proving that Dr. Alex is a horrible doctor. Replicators would be good as long as you cannot replicate deadly weapons. Well, and that's an interesting thing, because you technically, I think you probably could. You could probably replicate pretty much anything, except for Latinum for some dumbass reason. Smallville is a lot of episodes. That is true. 10 seasons. Legends also takes the Mickey out. Legends also takes the Mickey out of the viewers in a fun way. And Trigger. Here's a recap for all you idiots who have forgotten. Okay. I don't know what taking the Mickey out of someone means, Peter. That's another one of your strange overseas sayings, I think. Stargate SG-1 200th episode was funny. I've heard that. I don't think I'm quite there yet. It's in character and Trekker, so Mick Rory, the bald one, is always like that. Okay. Okay. Unit Brigadier Sergeant Benton Chap with the wings, 5 rounds, rapid, absolutely classic. I tell you, we need Unit back. Although I could just see it with the new Doctor Who. They'd say, I'm from Unit. And the female doctor would be like, oh, is that supposed to be some kind of phallic statement? You men. And so I'm kind of glad they don't have them. Hi, Anti-Checker. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood. Hey, Les. Indeed, it is. Stargate Infinity was an animated show made by a different production company for kids. It's not considered canon. They were in a different direction for what the Ancients were. Oh, okay. And Kronos says, just a recommendation, The Boys is really good. Oh, is that the Boys, that show on Amazon? I've been meaning to check it out. I don't know. It seems like it might be a little dark for me, but I'll check it out. Legends, that show that completely from season 1, I can honestly say, the show changed completely from season 1. I can honestly say in a good way. I wish more people were watching. It really is a ton of fun. If they radically changed it after season 1, then that's a good thing, because I thought season 1 was horrible. However, I've kind of given up on the WBDC thing. Peter says they make fun of you, Anti-Trigger. Who makes fun of me? You're making fun of me? Bunch of meanies. Taking the Mickey is talking the piss, making fun of. Oh, okay. Oh, that's what you're saying. So taking the Mickey is making fun of someone. Gotcha. See, you guys have weird sayings like that. It's going to confuse the heck out of me if I ever come to visit you guys. You're going to have to speak American English, please. Mick Rory does anyway. Okay. I still need Carl Urban to do... I say you still need Carl Urban to do another Judge Dredd. There were rumors of a TV show called Mega City 1, but there's been no news since the announcement last year. I have not heard anything new on the Judge Dredd front either, and I would absolutely love to see Carl Urban play Judge Dredd again. He was so good. And, you know, Carl Urban is one of those actors that's just... Most people, you know, when you think of great actors, you don't think of Carl Urban, but Carl Urban is a great actor. And if you look at his body of work, he has been in some of the most iconic roles imaginable, but yet nobody thinks of him. And I'll tell you, like, for example, in the rebooted, in the J.J. Abrams Trek movies, very few people would argue that Dr. McCoy was, you know, he was freaking awesome. The only problem was that they sidelined him and basically put Uhura in his place, and Carl Urban was great as Bones. They needed to keep him as Bones and to make him the third member of the Trinity like it's supposed to be, but they wanted to replace him with Uhura because girl power, and that was really agitating. Antrigger, imitating a woman makes you cough. No female vocal cords. Yeah, it's true. Legends is the best of the Arrowverse, even better now that Constantine is now in. Oh, Constantine's in it. That's cool. I like Futurama. I actually like that Constantine show. I thought it got canceled way too early. I like Futurama 4. Not watched Disenchantment. Disenchantment was okay, but not nearly as good as Futurama. We're educating you. Well, you're trying, but I'll be honest with you. It's going to be a long road to get me to understand a lot of this stuff. Don't judge till you see it, since it's Sunday. Wait until you hear the Geordie dialect. I'll tell you, that's going to drive me freaking crazy. You guys are going to probably have to just translate for me. Shiz, you never heard of taking the Mickey out of somebody? It's just like taking the piss out of someone. Hope that helps. Well, here's the thing, though, son of a red shirt, is that people in the United States don't say either of those. I've never heard anyone in real life say taking the piss out of somebody. Now, I've heard, like, the closest thing to that would be, like, take the wind out of their sails. I've heard that expression. But I've never heard of taking the piss out of someone. I've never heard taking the Mickey out of somebody. But, you know, I'm just an ignorant American. Just make the unit commander a woman with a serious chip on her shoulder, always ranting on how no one pays her any attention. It'll be great. Yeah, that's what they're going to end up doing. Stan Lee says, Dredd, McCoy, Billy the Butcher. Yes, absolutely. American English, isn't that like colonial English? No, American English is good American English. Rom is the leader of the Ferengi Alliance in the last episode of Deep Space Nine. That's right. Urban was Bones to a T. He absolutely was. I really liked his portrayal of Dr. McCoy in the first, in Star Trek 2009. And he and Spock were the one bright spot in Star Trek Beyond for me, was their moments together, bantering was actually really good. But they underutilized him. Those three movies, if those three movies were about Kirk, Spock, McCoy like they should have been, I think they would have been received a whole lot better. Bones is one of the best in the JJ Universe actors, agreed. Carl Urban is an amazing actor, agreed also. Urban was not great as McCoy. Agree to disagree on that one, Richie. Remember Urban as Rohirrim Rider? Yes. He was one of the leaders of the Rohirrim. And so, yeah, he was in The Lord of the Rings. He was in Judge Dredd. He was in Star Trek. I mean, he's really been in a lot of iconic roles that most people don't realize. Let's see. Stargate keeps reusing actors to be different characters. I didn't like what they did with Dr. Weir's husband or whatever he was. Well, a lot of shows have done that. Heck, Mark Leonard played a Romulan commander before he played Sarek. And, you know, and then he played a Klingon commander in Star Trek The Motion Picture. When you first hear of Urban Bones off camera in 2009, you get chills. The only highlight of the movie. I wouldn't say the only highlight of the movie, but yes, when you do first hear him in that scene where he's yelling at the flight attendant, that was classic Bones right there. Rome Hater also liked Burns as Bones. Vile says, if you like Constantine's show, you should know it was retroactively added to the Arrowverse, and it's the same character and actor from that show in Legends. That's actually a good thing. That almost makes me want to watch it. At first, Dr. Weir was played by 2 different actors. Well, of course, because why not make it as confusing as possible? It just means insulting them, bringing them down to earth. Right, I get it, but yeah, it's just one of those expressions that you don't hear in the U.S. As they say, it's hard to teach an old dog like us new tricks. I am an old dog, though. So, I am going to wrap it up, guys, because I am hurting like a SOB, like a BIRDOPREY. That's what I meant to say. But I do want to say thank you for hanging out with me. If I'm up to it, I'll try to do a stream later on today, because I'm just too hurting right now to keep going. But thank you all for hanging out with me. Thank you for being the best damn crowd on YouTube. I truly do appreciate each and every one of you, except for Dr. Alex. And again, just take care of yourselves, and don't forget to whatever I forgot. Oh, of course, that is stupid credits. All right, rewind. There we go.